BMW IBSF season finales for bobsleigh and skeleton. We're in Calgary, Alberta in Canada. The 8th and final World Cup of the season. First time here for World Cup racing in 4 long years. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven. Alongside me, John Morgan. And John, in the second and final run of the two-man bobsleigh, we're going to have to wait an hour to see if some remarkable history gets made. And that's really our huge story today.
Well, it's again the 8th and final World Cup of the season, and what we saw in the first heat, again, we're talking about Francisco Friedrich, the guy who has won 7 straight World Cups. There's Johannes Lochner. He's won 7 straight World Cups. Never in the history of our sport, in bobsleigh or skeleton, has anybody come close. Now, there's somebody that's done 6 out of 8, 7 out of 8, but Martin, it's never happened before.
Well, perhaps not surprisingly, Andre Lange is the one who's actually come closest. In 4-man in 2003-4, he won 6 of the 7 races, was never off the podium. But in terms of more recently, 14-15, Alana Myers-Taylor won 6 of 8. And Oscars Melbardis won 5 of 8 in the 4-man, but he was on the podium all 8 races. Now, it's possible that Friedrich could do something that might stand for all time. I mean, if he ever gets close again, if anyone gets close again, it'll be a remarkable season. Friedrich leads after the first heat, but look, he leads by only 400ths from the man with whom 370 days ago he tied for Olympic gold, Justin Kripps, on his home track. Yeon Jung-won, Hansi Lochner, potential medal winners, but the big story is the perfect season.
The perfect season. It's absolutely, here's the highlights from the first run that, Juan is, 4-man silver medalist last year, but he was a dominant player in 2-man, and it looks like he's out of that 2-man slump, Martin. Not bad in Lake Placid last week, but 3rd place at the end of the first run, but only 100th ahead of Hansi Lochner, the German who's in 4th. But in 2nd place, well, this guy named Justin Kripps, he's got Summer on the backs. This is the first time we've seen him hooked up with Ryan Summer. He came later in the heat than anybody else, and as expected, he pulled down a great heat, only 400ths behind Lācis. So that's, he's in position right there to do what he did last year, which is this guy here. He's won all 7 races on the season. Unbelievable that the guy has put himself in this position. 1 more heat where he's the leader at the bottom. He'll sweep the season, something that we might not ever see again in our lifetime.
Well, he hasn't lost a race since January 2018. So he won the last regular season race last year and the Olympics, and 7 straight now.
He's a little bit like Schumacher. He's a big fan of Michael Schumacher.
He really is. I can't see any better parallel to Francesco Friedrich right now.
And the other thing hanging in the balance here is he's won 4 straight world championships, 2013, 15, 16, 17. He wins next week in Whistler. He'll tie Eugenio Monti for the 5 consecutive world championships. Another history thing that's in the future for us.
Something to get excited about next week. And next week is what everybody's looking at now. Benny Meyer especially, torn hamstring early in the season. He's had to sit in for a few races. He's just taken some of the strain away from Donat Moldovan. 26 start of 27 sleds. He drove himself into the race.
Well, he's one of the better drivers in the field. Multiple World Cup medals. European Championship, I think, 1 year in St. Moritz before we went to the World Championships in Innsbruck.
Hasn't raced on this track before, although he and wife Elizabeth have an apartment at the top of the hill that they're just about to take ownership of.
She won a bronze medal last night in the skeleton competition. Was leading the 2nd race this morning, but fell to 4th in the 2nd run.
So Benny Meyer trying to figure out how the track has changed. Temperature's really dropped, actually, John. The air temperature's gone down about 8 or 10 degrees, it feels like.
Sun's starting to set.
Sun's below the yard arm. It's gin o'clock, but not for a while yet.
Let's check the speed, check the time. Speed,
the line,
127.
56.19. He came down
faster.
Track is speeding up.
He's 1100s faster.
30.
So he got a faster time off a slower start. No, same start, 100th apart. So we got a little bit of a faster track now. He's first down. That doesn't mean the track's still going to be giving it up by the time 20 sleds come down.
But in an hour's time, the temperature will have dropped further. We saw this yesterday in the skeleton.
It did get faster in skeleton. we got close to the track record, something I don't think we're going to have a chance to get near.
No, but we might tomorrow. It's going to be a cold, hard night tonight. Minus 26 is the forecast low. Thank you very much. Well, there's Benny Meyer, done and down for the World Cup. World Championships remain still for him. Next up, Hunter Church and Chris Horn made their World Cup debut last weekend in Lake Placid for Team USA. Again, 25th fastest start, drove himself into the second heat in a big field of competitive sleds.
Breaking Chris Horn, Catholic. Boston guy, Father Ken Horn's here, watching him, and Chris he's got everything you need, in my opinion, to be a great push athlete. You know, and again, Mark, my favorite athlete of choice for the sport of bobsledding are decathletes.
22-year-old Hunter Church has a dozen races in North America's Cup in 2 and 4, and he's had wins and podium finishes here in both categories.
Hunter's only albatross is starting the sled. If he learns how to start the sled, obviously showing some good eyes and hands.
Well, again, 22 years old, he's got plenty of time to develop that power.
Cadyville, New York, not far from Lake Placid. His father is a bobsledder, Tommy.
Starting to creep away from Benny Meyer, and that's not easy.
500's better start.
Ooh, now the gap's coming back down.
Ooh, tap there is going to cost him. Could it be another one of them too close to call right off the bat? Oh. 300s. You know, before we're done, probably going to see some ties.
Yep.
Saw a few in the women's race.
Well, we have a tie for 11th between China and the USA. And we've got a whole host of sleds that are 1/200ths apart. These guys only 600ths faster than Benny Meyer in the first heat. Ran a little further. He said it felt better.
Again, Chris Horn back there. Big boy.
He's running all the way down to turn
point score. Good lines here. You know, Chris Horn, look at him back there. Perfect aerodynamic pose for him. Yep. And this little tap in the bottom cost Hunter 4 or 500ths as he entered the finish curve.
A couple of years, I think these two could really have it going on. All right, Hunter Church leads for the USA, 2 down, 18 to go. Next up, Maxim Antonov, who I thought might be a bit of a dark horse for a top 6 finish. He trained well, he says he likes the track, he's never been here before. With Alexei Zaitsev behind him, 16th fastest start, halfway through the field.
First part of the season, 2 fifths, a 6 and an 8. But since then, he's been double digits. Martin, he did win training all week long, but training, they don't check the weight in the sleds, they don't check the hot runners. Some guys go out and just want to win training to establish a point, but he didn't win any training results in the first heat here today.
Little slower second start, 300 slower. Now again, as the track gets colder, so does the start area. It actually gets harder to start. We saw how slow the start area was early this morning for the skeleton athlete.
Much smoother than he did in the first run. But the exit of 8 is where he was sideways in the first run. Let's see what he does here.
Was 800ths up on Hunter Church in heat 1, 1200ths. The gap's coming down. His lack of knowledge here. He's never raced here before. That's going to catch up with him.
Means he had 3 practice trips in the 2-man, probably 2 in the 4-man. 900ths. Well, it's another close one, but I think the Russians are going to do it here.
A couple of hundreds in it.
300.
300s in it.
So we got 3 sleds down, separated by 600s. Get used to it. You know, Martin, they talk about Rouge goes to 1,000th of a second. I don't like that. I love the ties. The ties gets more people involved.
Yeah. Definitely. Plus, if you can't judge into 100, it doesn't need judging. This is my feeling.
Let's cross over to 6 to 7, 4 to 5, excuse me. This is in the Omega curve. See these dark spots in the ice. We've got a story about them if we get time to tell it. And this is down in the bottom. Pretty good lines out of Chrysler.
All right, Maxim Antonov leads with 3 sleds down. Next up is another one of our World Cup rookies. Jeff Dubois made his debut last week in Lake Placid. Got 5-year now, I think, veteran Adrian Adams behind him. They started 5:43. 200ths is the advantage from the first heat over Maxim Antonov.
Jeff driving a BTC sled, which is, again, probably the first time that an American has driven not a BMW or a Podium in this century competition. But he bought it with his own money, $60,000 for something with no brakes, no engine. $60,000 for this thing.
Well, at least you don't have to get the tires rotated.
That isn't even the runners. Probably not even the racing runners he's got on.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
1000s. Drove well on the bottom part of the track in the first heat.
Well, like Hunter Church, his knowledge is all of North American
got a
tracks.
6.
He's coming back at Antonov.
One thing when I talked to him, he's very into the equipment, very into designing his own equipment. Got a 4. Well, this is about speed. This is about hundredths of a second. It's going to go either way here in the finish. Another tie.
Not either way. It is a dead heat. So Antonov and Zaitsev stay in the lead with Jeff Gadbois and Adrian Adams.
Well, Gadbois just showed again. He can drive. Drove himself out of that hole. His start time is going to be his challenge.
Knows the track. He has half a dozen North America's Cup race weekends here.
The lines, gets a little bit of a drift going, then it comes back to the left, and now he's in a big skid. This was worth maybe a 10th, maybe more. Amazed that he could still straighten it out here. And he does straighten it out under the Chrysler, finds a fast line in the bottom to overcome a 1000 deficit.
There you go. Jeff Gadbois tied for the lead with Maxim Antonov. Next up is another World Cup debutant team, Mihai Tentea and Ciprian Dorocci from Romania. So the first since Nicolae Estrate to drive bobsleigh in the men's competition for Romania.
Nicolae's here coaching the French. We'll see them later.
He is very pleased to see Mihai here. Us too, we met him first in the Worlds in Koenigsegg. He's done the Olympics as well, but never started a World Cup race before this afternoon.
Junior Olympic competitor.
Yep. Now, he raced here in the run-up to the Youth Olympic Games in Lillehammer 2016. Ooh, gets a lot of steering in corner 1.
5th best velocity. Keep track of the velocity on the left. You could have the best start, but not the best velocity because you ran too far. You got in and altered the sled.
1200s up. Yeah, he was 700s ahead of Gadbois from the first heat. 1300s up.
He was very impressive coming late in the heat.
This is
he did pretty good.
Another BTC sled, same as Gadbois drives.
1300s to 15, good lines.
Kelly Humphrey's a winner on this track in the previous years. She drove lots of successful races in BTC customer sleds over the last couple of years.
Away. He hasn't hit a wall. It's pretty good for a 21-year-old. Never been on the track, really.
First ever World Cup race, 2400s up.
Only 500 slower his first run.
Yep.
Jeez, Romanians, they got to be happy with this young kid.
Look at this brakeman yelling in the backseat there.
He's 20 years old, too.
Yep.
This is definitely the youngest twosome in the competition.
Yeah. The pair of them are actually younger than you and me put together.
Don't bring that up.
They are.
Look at the lines. Got that little expansion joint bump that everybody's got to hit. Look at it. Stays off the wall, right down the middle. Here on the exit on the bottom before the finish curve, a lot of people tap there. He doesn't.
It's a little height early, but that's a good-looking trick.
21-year-old looks a little older than that.
Yeah, 20. That's
talent.
Driving with experience. Romania lead. 5 down, 15 to go. Final 15 sleds of the two-man bobsleigh World Cup season. Markus Treichel and Christian Huber. A new name on the back of the Austrian sled. Treichel, fresh from silver medal in the Junior Worlds, has never raced here in Calgary.
Got an impressive 8th place in ultimate. Ooh, drift there. Best velocity, 59.3. Keep track of that.
Again, former brakeman, so he's a big, strong starter. May not have the fastest legs, but he pushes hard.
He's got 100 separation with him and the Romanian down at the bottom, and he just lost it. 800s better at the start, but he lost it in that skid up top. Yeah. He could drive himself back into the green. That line's going to help. 600. Needs to be perfect.
Hasn't done the full World Cup season, but he is coming on strong.
High there. 600. I don't think he's going to do it. This is a big scalp for that young Romanian kid to pull away.
Best result, 8th place in Altenburg. What's going to happen here? Second at the line.
13,
yes.
4th. 4th best time of the run, 2nd overall. This is Treichel's mistake up top. Curve 1 to 2. Everything else was pretty good, but that was worth probably 20/100ths of a second up there, if not more.
We saw Mihai Tentea there on the left. Not only the youngest driver in the field, I think he's probably the shortest as well.
Here's his mistake. Late into curve 1. Now watch the skid. This is where you're trying to let the sled accelerate away, and you do that. I mean, the rest of the drive here, Martin, everything, runner tips.
Yep, not looking
Look
bad.
at the energy. I mean, there's not a lot of wrong there. The wrong was up in the first 75 meters. Down here, he got a little high in 12 and tapped there. Boy.
Big bump, big early height there as well, so you had to fight it at the bottom when you're trying to hold the speed. Marcus Treichel in second, Mihai Tentea of Romania, the leader. 14th after the first of our 2 heats in the sled field of 27. Ivo de Bruin with Dennis Benker. Wife Christine is in Vancouver this week, training up for the Worlds.
She won a silver medal last week in Lake Placid.
Second silver this season.
Restoring the first run. Ivo, the Dutch that he is, there's 2 Dutch on our TV crew. Ivo had him over for a steak dinner the other night.
Yeah. He's had lots of trips down this track in the summer in Summer Bob, but also lots of races here as well. He may have as much experience of this track as most of the Canadians.
Well, second best start, 35. It's going to need great lines. 1200s. 1200s can go away quick if he doesn't get a good exit of curve 8. Watch the runners. As good as it gets. Speed, 120. He's got it up to 14. Needs to be clean here too. Remember, the Romanian didn't touch the wall. 17 pulling away. This could be the leader.
Yep.
Ivo de Bruin showing his 12 years of driving experience with a pretty clean run.
Big result for him this season, 7th place in Altenburg. He takes the lead away from Romania.
900ths faster than his first run.
Yep.
Consistent. Driving in that Eurotech sled.
Yeah, now they're both happier with that. They got a decent start, and that clearly, to Dennis in the back, felt like a good trip down.
13 in World Cup points. Best finish of the season was 7th in Altenburg, which is... Altenburg's a pretty difficult track.
Only single digits finish of the season.
The lines here, textbook. Not a lot of fault other than the start, which not bad so far.
Woo! Happy with that today. Love you guys. Hey, Matt. Hey, Ducks.
Ivo de Bruin leads for the Netherlands. 13 sleds left in the final 2-man race of the season. Mikkel Vogt of Switzerland with Sandro Michel behind him didn't have the greatest hit at the start. The synchronicity wasn't there.
But he was fast all the way down the track till he had sideways before Kreisel.
And Vogt has never raced here before either. Runs a little better.
He's only 21, so on a 5:31 start. Look at the stride of his brake, but in, down, quickly. And 28, better start. Watch him get around the first curve, okay?
Little better, hits the wall.
He has the best velocity, 59.9, but that's going to go away because he tapped the wall.
1300s ahead of Ivo de Bruin. 2300s up.
Hey, he was good in the first run, Martin. Yeah. But again, 21 years old, not a lot of experience.
Well, never raced outside Europe before Lake Placid last week.
Had a couple mishaps there.
He's only driven for 2. This is his second year ever driving a bobsleigh. Swiss are really pumped up about this kid, and you can see why.
Well, watch out, he's going to get in late here.
Holds it together.
31, he's coming back 28. This is still a great run, way better than his first run. If he would have done this in the first run, Martin, he would have been up in the top 8 or 9.
Could end up 3/10 in front,
55, 76. He's 2300ths better than his first run. The guy on the right, Christoph Langen, won the World Championships here. Double gold medal in 1996. A couple other, 3 other Olympic gold medal, or 2 gold medals, bronze medal. He's pretty decorated.
That run in the first heat would have left him 7th, not where he was in 13th.
No, he made some mistakes in the
Could
first
live
run.
in the leader's box.
But this didn't help either. Look, he steered around the first corner, tapped the wall. That's an error. You know, that's a turnover in basketball or football. But he overcomes it much better here.
Yeah, drifts over to the wrong side.
But he was sideways
Kreisel.
there in the first heat.
Yep.
Exit here at Kreisel. Hey, 21 years old.
You know, it's great being able to push, it's great being able to drive, but being able to learn fast is so critical. He's limping though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's entirely healthy. Tie for 11th in the first heat between USA and China. Justin Olsen and Chris Kinney first up for the USA. Second out of the start shed. They tied the Chinese, who were first out of the start shed. So 5:30, a fastest start of the competition for this pair.
Talked about it in the first run. Justin Olsen, a lot of promise for him the last couple of years, but this year has been a nightmare season for him. When he wants to forget, and 5:30 in the first run, 5:23 there. Wow.
That's much more like it.
Yeah, and you know, the talent he's got, the equipment he's in, the knowledge of the tracks. You know, he shouldn't be finishing back 15th to 20th like he has all year.
Fastest start in the competition, 5:22 from leader Francesco Friedrich, and that's where Olsen expects to be, within spitting distance.
Just seems like he's oversteering. He's erased that lead already.
Yep.
And he had a better start by a lot. Mistakes there. But he came back on the bottom part of the track. He was similar to this in the first run, but he got it back to even with the Chinese sled coming up next.
Raced here when he was learning in North America's Cup. Podium finisher in 2-man and 4-man. Oh, it's going away. He's not going to catch Mikael Vogt, is he? Oh, and almost rolls it off the final corner.
55.94, 55.95 in the first heat. Everybody's going faster. He barely went faster. But of course, Martin made a lot of driving errors. Great start. Chris Kenny and him put it together. A great start.
A little loose.
They did get a little loose.
Oh, wow.
Well, 23 start. That's good news. At least they're both fast and
Look at him
healthy.
looping up and down here. This is in the Omega curve, 7. And then this is the exit of 8. And his looping in 7 caused the bad exit in 8. And he's, you know, trying to correct the mistake and hits the wall. But here too, another tap before the take on of the finish. Throws him over in the middle.
Yeah, that early
Hey, everybody
pressure.
at home. Thanks for watching.
Early pressure really hurts in that final corner.
I say it's cold, but I think that's pretty apparent.
It is that. Now, Xiao Yi-jun and Yu Wei, they were the first ever Chinese male athletes to start at the elite level of bobsled. They were first off in our first heat. Start 5:38, pretty competitive, 16th in the field at 27. And you know that they had to be nervous. This is their first time ever on a big stage, John.
What they should be nervous about is their coach, Pierre Luders. You know,
That too.
he demands excellence in anything that they do, from going to breakfast to going to the weight room, coming out here on the track. And that's why he was so successful in the sport.
And their driver's coach is Andre Langer, the greatest bobsledder perhaps of all time. Wow. So they got plenty. That's a great line. They got plenty to draw on.
Well, now the question is how many spots he's going to fall. He's 2,600 back. Keeps there. He might stay in third.
Started driving in January 2017. He's only raced here a couple of times.
He could fall back 3 places.
Whoop.
So he was the first man down the track. Had good ice to work with here. 4th best time, 31. Still great. You know, we're talking about the Chinese.
A made the heat. He only started in January 2017 driving bobsled. So, you know.
The Chinese are in the sport of bobsledding.
Yeah.
2 2-mans, 2 4-mans, 2 women's, men's, women's skeleton. Question is, are we going to see him in the team competition next week in Whistler?
Well, 2 years ago, Chinese bobsledding was an idea. Now it's World Cup and World
And they got
Championship
this
teams.
guy Luders and Lange working with the team.
Manny Mahata did a lot of the early legwork, recruiting the athletes, getting them started.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah, and look, they're happy
Great
with their
result.
day.
That's a great result.
No kidding. History being made for Chinese athletes. It's Michael Vogt of Switzerland who leads 10 down, and the final 10 sleds of the season still to come. Will we have the perfect season? Stay with us to find out. Well, already history being made here with Chinese athletes joining the World Cup field for the first time. Michael Vogt there with Sandro Michel, who's brakeman on the left. Never been here before. Looking into the eyes of a top 10 finish.
21 years old.
Yeah.
How many trips has he got? Maybe 100 trips in his life?
Second season of driving. He did Europa Cup last year, World Cup this year. It's pretty cold in that start tent, so the fans that hang around at the start, they've got to make a lot of noise to keep themselves warm.
At least that cover's up there. They put that cover up there about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Real great addition. It used to be wide open there, Martin.
Well, otherwise you're on the top of a hill and there's 1,000 miles of prairie between you and anything else when the wind comes whistling in. So
then you go back to the 1988 Winter Olympic Games, the final day of four-man, the day the Jamaicans made the sport famous. It was 55 degrees when the Jamaicans crashed.
Yeah.
There was a half-hour delay, 20-minute delay clearing the track out, and there was near 60 when the final sled went down. So the weather up here can change.
And these games, the only two Hollywood films about Winter Olympics were both based around these games. Cool Runnings, with the Jamaican bobsleigh team, of course, being the stars there. And Eddie the Eagle story, that was here as well in Calgary. Yeah. Much to the chagrin of the old school blazer wearers.
When I saw that first press conference when everybody was hanging, I go, why aren't they talking to the world champion, Wolfgang Hoppe? They're all down there talking to the Jamaicans. I didn't understand it. Took me about 2 hours to figure out that the press was way more interested in the Jamaicans than anybody else.
They're Olympic color stories, aren't they? And it's still as much a part of the Olympics as who wins. It's where the people come from. It's the human interest that makes sport what it is. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. World Cup finals for the BMW IBSF two-man bobsleigh World Cup. And Lācis of Poland looking for another top 10 result. He's 10th after the first of our two heats here. Martin Haven and John Morgan calling the action with you.
Very impressed with Lūķis' start, something he never used to get, two-man. And obviously they've been working hard with him, 430, 200's better. And he doesn't drive around that first curve and hit it, tap the wall. He's clean. He's been coming on, Mark. We saw it last year, but this year he's right up there challenging.
Yes, he really is. Standing 8th place in the World Cup rankings.
7th in St. Moritz, his best finish in two-man ever. Dead heat.
Tied for the lead of the race with Michael Vogt, who's even younger and less experienced. Neither of these two sliders have ever seen this track before.
Great lines, only 200s back. If he exits in the same way that he entered this curve, he could have a chance. He's a little skid on the nose. 5. Oh, bleeding. Looks like Vogt's going to get somebody else.
I think Michael Vogt is on for a top 10 finish.
5 to 5. He drove well on the bottom. That's a great run for both of them. Yeah, look at the coaches know he's better at four-man than he is two-man.
And he'll have 2 more trips down the track of knowledge as well to build on. So
Tarkowski there is a great athlete in the back. I think he's a 400-meter sprinter.
These guys have got a lot of potential, and they're really starting to build their abilities with every run.
Nothing wrong with that exit. Don't spray off the runners. You can see a little bit of the brakeman back there. Shouldn't see him there. So I think that they got to correct that aerodynamics a little bit. Here, look at the runner tips and the angle there. A little bit of a skid on the exit of Friedrich. He doesn't know where it went wrong. See him put his hands up.
Well, we've got a battle of the young drivers. Michael Vogt leads Lūķis. Next up, Dominik Dvorak of the Czech Republic. How good has his season been? He is 4th in the two-man rankings behind Friedrich, Kiebermanis and Walter. He's ahead of Yun Jong-won, ahead of Robin Heinrich, way ahead of Hannes Lochner.
Second at the start, 5:25 in the first run for this 10.8 100-meter sprinter in the front seat. 5:26 Get around here clean, quietly. Yes. Martin, I said, I like to say, if you line them all up, all the drivers in a sprint, this guy's the one that's going to win.
Yeah.
And boys, he had a breakout season.
There's a couple of 10-something 100-meter runners in the field. And
but usually they're brakemen.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
driver.
That's where he started.
Yeah, he started
once before. He was as a brakeman that time. That was back in 2013. Now he's taken over from Jan Verber. Now he's dropping behind Michael Vogt, but this is going to be super tight at the bottom.
Clean, good entry into 10, 11. He doesn't tap here coming out of 12. He's down to 8. No way, he's lost it.
800ths of a second. What's he got at the bottom? Brand new
now the
sled
question
this
is,
year.
he's going to drop 2
BTC.
spots. Fifth best time. Wow. Ludi goes ahead of him too. Dvorak, I don't think that's going to affect Dvorak in the top 4.
No, the others are way behind him in points.
Still top 4 finish for this
Yep.
guy. Look,
Yep.
competitive. Watch this. Watch him get out of the sled.
Next door.
Look at it. There's an athlete right there.
Yes. And his heart is as big as his push.
Look at there. Look at the runner tips there. So we steer. Look at that. That's too much steering.
Way too much.
We didn't pick that up. Great pickup by our guys in the truck.
Got into corner 1
Yeah,
way late.
you just got to get through there without any steering. Here, this is pretty good here, Martin. Look at the runner tips. Pretty cohesive, everything coming right at us. You can't see the brakeman.
Yep.
Good season, Dominic.
Yep. And he's still got 4 man to go. Next up, Nick Polignato of Canada. Thanks to Helen Upperton for this stat. Since 1988, this track has been the catalyst for 22 Canadian Olympic medalists. 14 from bobsleigh, 4 from skeleton, and 4 more from luge.
Why it's hard to think that they're even talking about closing it, what it does to the Canadian Olympic program and this facility itself. Polignato, 5:21.
That's
Boy,
a huge
him
start.
and Neville Wright. And they went late. They went 15.
That is a huge start from these two.
Neville Wright just 2 weeks away from retiring. What service he's provided Canadian bobsled in the last decade.
2 weeks away from retiring for the 3rd time. He keeps going back to do more education and look after the family. And now this is his final trip. He said he started in Vancouver, and that's where he wants to finish. 1600s up.
Coming back a little bit, though, but the lines are perfect.
Yeah. Polignato was smooth and fast.
Yeah, he's
in
pulling
the
away
first
now.
heat.
So this is a good run. He hasn't touched the wall.
Top 8 finish on the way for Nick Polignato. His best of the season.
55, 6, 7.
7.
He just went 1900s better in the second run. When you go better in the second run, the track's quicker. And some people are going a couple hundreds here and there. That's 2 consistent runs for Polignato.
Well, now he's just pushed Michael Vogt out of the leader's box. Vogt's just gone up 4 spots.
Only 1, baby.
I don't want to run into Neville Wright.
Yeah. That'll be like running into the side of a building.
Look at Neville. How big he is. You see him back there? Barely. That was because of that expansion joint bump. But look at how low Nick's eyes
Polo's
are.
a tall guy as well. You know, he wriggles right down in that sled.
Former football player from Bishop's University.
Good start from Nick Polignato, your race leader.
Hopefully we get a few spots here.
Might.
7 to go, of whom Roman Heinrich of France and Dorian Ottaville have never been here before either. 100th ahead of Polignato from the first heat.
They crashed in their second heat of training, beat their sleds up, beat themselves up.
He won't make
Didn't
that
get a
mistake
very good
again.
start. 5:34 in the first run. They're better starters than that, Martin.
Heinrich is a huge brakeman, and so is Dorian Ottaville, who's behind him.
34, 36.
36.
They are still wounded from that first day mishap on curve 11.
Another BTC Latvia sled.
What a breakout season. Won a silver medal last week. Shocked everybody in Lake Placid.
Yep.
And the enthusiasm from this guy, what it's going to do for French bobsled. That's what we're seeing, the emergence of all these countries. Czech Republic,
He's not going to
France,
hang on
Poland.
to the lead. He's 4 or 5 spots back, maybe 6 spots back at the moment. So this is not going to be a top 10 finish for Roman Heinrich unless he finds afterburners below the Kreisel. What's he got left?
This is where he crashed right here.
Yeah.
Rolled into that corner, just threw it.
Safely through. He was
22 to 18, so he's bringing it back. He's maybe only going to drop one spot.
closing in. He's third on splits at the line. How far
ran out of
back?
track. He ran out of track.
A spot.
Pulling over, picks one up. Hey, listen, the French, what they did last week was historic. It was the first French medal since the World Championships in Cortina in 1999, a bronze in the two-man. So, wow, what a breakout season for him. It's only his second full year driving.
And the only reason he's 7th in World Cup rankings is because they didn't go and do the double race weekend in Sigulda, so they missed 2 races effectively.
Yeah, look at him right across the X drive in the perfect angle there. Here's the exit.
If he'd gone to Sigulda, he and Dominic Dvorak would be hovering around 4th place, the two of them. I mean, that's a phenomenal season for France and for the Czech Republic.
Oh, they're going to be here in 4-man. They weren't 4-man last week.
First of our German sliders now is Nico Walter, one of only 7 men who raced in the World Cup 4 years ago. Then he was 7th on his only ever trip to this track.
Well,
now
I bet
he's
he
back
was,
and in 6th.
I bet you he was here in Luge. He was a junior world champion in Luge.
Pavel Kaminsky behind him. Paul Krentz, his brakeman.
Nico Walter's wounded with a hamstring for most of the season.
Still hasn't got full speed, 5:36.
He's not wounded with his eyes and his hands, though. We saw in the first run, boy, did he fly in the bottom part of the track.
Well, when he was sitting in the 4-man, his guys were still getting top 10 starts.
Yep. He's just hanging out for that Whistler 4-man. He's really targeting that event.
800's back. He's stopped the bleeding. He is coming back now at Nick Polignato of Canada.
Look at the lines. Boy, a little bit of a skid.
Tied for the lead. Now he creeps in front at the Kreisel.
Excessive speed here by this German sled is only going to get faster here on the bottom. This is some of the best eyes and hands right here.
This is where he built up the speed in the first heat. Below the Kreisel is where he flies. One thing
is to have the equipment, Martin, but you got to be able to do something with it.
Got a quarter second on Polignato from the Kreisel down.
20 hundredths better. And, you know, he's usually a good starter. Usually he's got 10 more hundredths when he's healthy. 20 hundredths better in the first run. Look at the big smile on Nico.
And do you know how far he was out of the medals? 12 hundredths. 12 hundredths out of the medals. That might be a medal-winning run.
2 perfect runs down this Canada Olympic Park track. Look at him lean a little bit.
Yeah.
Leaning a little bit. That's an old East German trick.
It's like a motorcycle rider.
Here too, let's see if he leans to the left side of our screen. No, he does barely taps.
So Nico Walter leads from Nick Polignato and Roman Heinrich. And we have 5 sleds to go in the regular season. Final 5 sleds for the BMW IBSF 2-man bobsleigh World Cup at the season finals in Calgary in Canada. Martin Haber and John Morgan waiting to see if we get a historic perfect season. But first up, Oskars Kybermanis of Latvia.
Watch the first curve. He drove around the first curve. We caught it. Let's see what he does this time.
Yeah, it didn't work for him, did it? He kept the low line. This time,
I don't know, he was way behind. 6th best velocity.
Yeah, it's getting those runners. Yeah, gets the runners so sideways, it understeers all the way around. It's cutting ice. You've got no speed at that stage.
1600s with what Nico Walter just did. He just beat Walter by 800s at the start. He's only 16 there, down to 14 already. I'm telling you, he's negotiation on that first curve. Is put him in. He's 2nd World Cup points, right?
Yep. He's
2nd World Cup points.
Up from the first
down to 8. Nico Walter was in the jet stream down here.
Yeah. A bit of extra height there.
I don't think he's going to do it.
No, he's going to drop behind.
Now the question is, I don't think Polignato will stay 2nd. Kybermanis' issues up there in curve 1.
Yeah.
Nico Walter on the left, Paul Krentz on the right, Pavel Kaminski.
I'm sure the coaches will look at that too, but
yeah,
he's driving around curve 1.
We have to remember that for tomorrow, see what he does in the four-man.
Four-man's different going around there. Four-man's more of a sport utility. This is
you
a sports
can't
car.
drive it round, I don't think. You have to go up corner 1.
I mean, he's one of the better starters in the field. Didn't get that great a start, 4th best start so far. This is a new brakeman now. This was the brakeman change.
Springers, yeah.
Now look at the rudder tips. Look at this. Yeah, I don't know, but with that start and that velocity and his time he gets, by the time he gets to that second clock.
He's putting in like a skid in the first turn. He's losing half the speed.
That wasn't as obvious in that run as it was the first run.
Next up, from Bavaria, Hansi Lochner with Christopher Weber behind him. They were 1/100th of a second out of the medals after the first heat. And what's Lochner done so far? 3rd, 2nd, 2nd, and 7th this year. Huge out of the top 3 as well.
Look how tall this guy is.
Crashed out of the top 3.
Crashed out of the top 3, yeah. 522, 400's better. Look at him get around the first curve with a little bit of spin.
There you go, 3rd best momentum.
Even though that's the 2nd best velocity and speed, or 2nd start time.
3100's up, here we go.
He's pretty loose down below though, lost some time back. He's only got a 100th behind Juan, the Korean, who's coming up next. Loops there.
Last World Cup race here, John, was December 14. He started in January 15, so he's never raced here before.
3100s, remember it was 3500s. Tap. That won't cost him too much.
Still holding his advantage. 29. He is squatting Nico Walter away, still 3/10 up.
Yeah, but he beat Walter by the way. He got to get him to start.
And at the line, that is
2100.
Very strong shout for a medal.
He beat Walter by 2800s and 2 each at the start, and only beat him by 2100s at the bottom.
22 starts, that's why Christopher Weber is happy with that. And Hansi Lochner leaps out happy as ever.
Matthias Hofter just slapped him 5 down there. That was one of the best speed merchants ever in German camp. Look at how tall Hansi is here. The holes in that push bar to get the weight out of it. Here's the loop down in 7. I don't like this. Up again. That's steering at 3 pressure points there.
Bear that in mind when we watch Friedrich, because Friedrich's done a lot of looping. Let the sled go with the pressure all year long, and it's found him speed. As Viesturs, our official photographer down at the bottom in the Grinchy jacket. So there's your race leaders, 3 to go.
Now we got some action.
Hey, we've got 2 Olympic champions and Olympic silver medalist in the final 3 sleds. Hyun Jung-won tied silver with Nico Walter in the 4-man. He lies 3rd after the first heat.
Just take a look at these 2, their quads. Look at the quads of the guy.
Now that was not a good hit. Young-Wo Seo behind him for the first time all year.
27, 23.
23. Still slower than Lochner and Weber.
They've got more trips down this track than they had down their Pyeongchang track.
They were 100th slower than Lochner at the start. They
Best.
had 100th in hand.
Velocity was the best velocity getting in the sled. That's why he's up now by 2.
200s. It's a dead heat.
Martin, he dominated 2 years ago. He dominated 2-man bobsled. Then they lost their coach, Malcolm Lloyd. Went into a slump. The fact that he emerged winning a medal in 4-man, he's a Korean legend. Carried the flag in the Olympics last year for his country, and he's in red numbers, but a perfect line.
He has had more than 20 races on this track.
This looks like he's gonna not do it here.
Has he got the speed in the Hyundai sled at the bottom? I don't think he does. He does not. Goes away.
Best time in the run. So Johannes Lochner picks up at least a medal.
In the medals. Lochner, 1, Walter. That's your top 3. With 2 to go. So now, let's start talking about the perfect season.
Okay.
7 races of 7 so far in the 2-man World Cup have been won by Francesco Friedrich. Nobody in any sliding discipline has won every race in a season.
Juan's lines, you can't be critical of this.
No. But back again.
No, that's pretty good.
Coming off late, trying to hold it up too long.
Lost some time at the bottom, but he's 5th in World Cup points for the season. Good year for him. But now, there's the only guy that could kill the perfect season.
Right. 370 days ago today, Justin Kripps and Francesco Friedrich tied for gold. Is it too much to ask for that to happen again today? Come on, let's see it happen.
He's sliding with Ryan Sommer. I think it's the first time he slid with Ryan. 5:21.
Oh, they know they need every 100th. That's
400's better.
quicker.
Look at the velocity, 60.2. Wow. No one's been near that 60 mark. And, you know, Kripps came late. Came 11th.
Yeah,
Friedrich came 8th the first run.
Pretty similar ice, and that's why they're only 400s apart. This is Kripps going for gold.
That same move. Good line there. And as textbook as you get there.
Just drifts it over for a great entry into the Kreisel. 126.7, writing that down as well. 120.1 on the exit.
1700s.
Kripps is going to lead, but the gaps come down from 2/10 over Lochner. How much will he have left at the line? A 10th, 1400s.
55.42, 900s better than his first run.
All right.
Silver medal, bronze medal last week in the 2-man, 4-man gold medal in Lake Placid last week. Kripps is primed for the World Championships.
Lochner needs a 55-52 to tie for gold and to create history.
Is that the first time Ryan Sommers medaled with him in the 2-man?
I couldn't tell you. You'd have to give me 20 minutes, and I don't have that right now.
A little busy. How are the lines? Can't see Ryan Sommer back there. Looks like a monobob. Perfect. I mean, textbook. You want to learn how to drive a bobsled? Look at the lines. That's it right there.
All right, Canada, hold your stuff together. There's Ryan on the left, Justin on the right. They lead.
I'm dual citizen, Martin, but I'm sort of rooting for this guy.
Yeah, but you're not half German.
Eight straight.
Do you know
one's ever done. This is potential history in our sport.
If he does, or if he doesn't, you're going to be hard-pressed to tell from his face.
I'll take a tie right now.
I'll take a tie every day of the week. Here we go for history, Francesco Friedrich.
22, maybe the team looked like a drifter.
5:14!
I think they might have run too far, though. Watch the velocity. Oh, it's great velocity. Only a 1/10 of a kilometer back.
All right, so his lead is 1100.
Ooh, drift there. 1000s. He should have been out more than that. With that. Kripps gets back to 300 or 400.
Kripps into the Kreisel was 126.7.
Kripps didn't make a mistake.
This is for the perfect season for Francesco Friedrich. He's got it back under control. 126.2, half a kilometre slower. On the exit, 120.1. Same speed as Kripps. He's stopped the bleeding.
Down to 400. Can't believe
it's going to be a dead heat.
Maybe another tie like last year's Olympics.
For the perfect season, and the line, he does it! He does it! Unbelievable!
How can you win 8 straight? Martin, that's his 11th straight win in 2-man bobsled. Listen. Oh. Look, another day at the office for him. Look, just, hey, no problem.
No, he appreciates his place in history. He really, really gets it.
Yes, baby.
Yes, baby. That's the most German you hear Matthias Höfner speak in a week. And the most English, rather.
You're looking at maybe the greatest ever.
Yeah.
Right there.
Remember in the Olympic Games, Friedrich went second last. Kripps came down across the line, and there was a team member holding up the one finger. Kripps knew he was Olympic champion, and Friedrich and Margis were all over them, jumping up and down, laughing and celebrating. And Kripps said, I didn't know why the Germans were so excited for us. He had no idea he tied.
But now we move on to the World Championships.
Oh my goodness.
He's won in 2013, 15, 16, 17. If he wins next week in Whistler, he'll tie Eugenio Monti, the Pele of our sport, as the greatest 2-man bobsled pilot ever. And next year's World Championships are on his home track in Altenburg, Germany. He just keeps creating all of this history in the sport, and he's probably the most mellow, humble guy we know.
And he's still got a decade of sliding in him. He's only 28. Damn him.
Martin, very, very happy to be part of history like this, to call this, huh?
Listen, Francesco Friedrich makes history. The first ever perfect season, 8 of 8. He's won 10 straight now, including Olympic two-man, 11 straight, including Olympic four-man gold. But in two-man, 10 straight wins. Astonishing. And Justin Kripps, again, right there with it, making him work for it. I don't think he will regret Friedrich winning here. Oh, goodness me. Well, there's Torsten Margis, who's shared so much of the success. Alexander Schuler there holding his helmet. He won the first of the 8 races this year with Francesco Friedrich. He's won twice, Martin Grotkopp twice. And now half the races have gone to Friedrich and Margis. They are Germany's dream team in the two-man, and there are no slouches in the four-man either. We focused a lot on Friedrich in the two-man. He's got every chance of winning in the four-man as well, and that goes equally when we head to Whistler. Yes, they'll be behind on track knowledge. Yes, they haven't raced there as much as a lot of their rivals, but does that matter? You know, Friedrich's favourite athlete, Michael Schumacher. Again, I can't go beyond that comparison. He is just remarkable in his ability to handle a sled, probably that nobody else could drive the way he likes it. There's Hansi Lochner, bronze medal here behind Justin Kripps and Francesco Friedrich. So Hansi in the 4 races, 5 races now, he's finished in the two-man World Cup, only once off the podium. And that crash in Altenburg put a little bit of a kink in his season. But nevertheless, he's had an impressive two-man and four-man year. And don't forget that Lochner and Friedrich are the defending four-man world champions. Friedrich the defending two-man world champion. A lot of traffic on Highway 1, the Trans-Canada Highway just down below us. And a lot of homes on the hillside here that last time we were here were part of the construction site as Calgary expands all around the track. Francesco Friedrich, 1,800 points. That is what a perfect season looks like. 8 wins in the two-man Bobsleigh World Cup from 8 starts. Everyone else watching as history was made. Oskars Kiebermanis takes the silver in the Crystal Globe race, and Nico Walter takes the bronze. And for the rest of them, well, again, if you want to watch video of how it's done, Friedrich's is the run you go for. A remarkable season, the likes of which we have never seen before. Only Andre Lange in four-man in 2003-4 came close. He won 6 of 7 World Cup races. He was on the podium in all 7. Christoph Langen nearly had a perfect podium season in 98-99. He got 13 out of 14 podiums in 2- and 4-man, but nobody's won every race in a season in any discipline. Francesco Friedrich and Torsten Margis put the final nail in the coffin as they claim the 8th straight win this year from 8 starts for the awesome Francesco Friedrich. Well, with any of his 3 brakemen this year, he has been unbeatable. Hansi Lochner, Christopher Weber on the right-hand side of your picture take the bronze medal here. Justin Kripps and Ryan Sommer take the silver medal and the gold. 370 days after tying with Kripps for the Olympic gold, Francesco Friedrich completes the perfect season. Yippee, says Torsten Margis, who actually is a little more excited than he made it sound. And that's it for the two-man Bobsleigh World Cup. Thank you for being with us throughout the season for all 8 races. The World Championships are coming over the horizon. For John Morgan and the IBSF TV crew, I'm Martin Hayden saying thank you for joining us. Thank you to all my co-commentators this season. We'll be back for the World Championships next week. We'll see you then. Bye for now.